A couple hours into Watch Dogs Legion, I look at my small team of dedsec agents and think to myself, these people suck. The concept is cool. Rather than playing a traditional protagonist, in Legion you recruit a team of heroes from randomly generated ordinary citizens of London. The problem with ordinary people, though, is that they're ordinary. I have a filmmaker on my team, an ambulance driver, a legal assistant, and a lady whose only skill is that she owns a car. It's not exactly a dream team, and initially I'm so uninterested in my collection of heroes that when the car lady is kidnapped by an enemy, I don't even bother rescuing her. Go ahead and keep her, I can steal a car if I need one. But a few hours and a few new recruits later, another member of my team is kidnapped, and this time I fly into an absolute rage. This guy also has a car, but it's an extremely fast car because he's not just a driver, he's a getaway driver. He has a skill that prevents police drones from chasing him while he's driving, and another skill that forces every car in his path off the road, parting traffic like the Red Sea. I like this guy a lot, and the thought of some enemy stealing him from me is absolutely unacceptable. That's when I realized Legion's play as anyone system is actually working for me, and that I've gotten invested in it. It just took a while to assemble a team I actually cared about. In Watch Dogs Legion, hacker group DedSec has been framed for a series of terrorist bombings in London, and its members are all dead, missing, or jailed.
The fuck are you?
Starting from scratch with a single citizen, I slowly assemble a new DedSec crew to fight against the forces trying to control London, like the private military firm Albion, who've essentially replaced the police, and a ruthless mob boss running drugs, weapons, and human trafficking operations in the city. Looking for new recruits in London is an engrossing activity. Scanning citizens as I pass them on the street gives me a look at their attributes, both good and bad. An elderly mechanic might wield a heavy wrench for melee attacks, but have low mobility and poor damage resistance due to his age. A medic may have a uniform useful for infiltrating hospitals, and a dart gun for non-lethal takedowns, but they also might be a compulsive gambler who will lose DedSec's money. Every trip through the city adds someone new to my shopping list, either because they seem useful, like a hacker or combat specialist, or they're a novelty, like a guy whose passive skill is farting uncontrollably. Initially, my crew was non-lethal types, but it's not long before I hired deadlier characters. I recruit a former MI6 spy to my roster armed with a silenced pistol and a cool watch gadget that lets him jam enemy weapons. I've got a professional hitman on my squad too, who I recruited after seeing him stab someone to death in the park. I even recruit a member of Albion, whose uniform lets me wander around secure buildings without drawing much attention. And it's a nice change from playing a single protagonist. You know how it was weird in Watch Dogs 2 when Marcus Holloway killed someone because he was such a nice guy? Depending on the mission and my mood, I can pick someone from my team to be a hero, an opportunist, or a murderous bastard without having to cram all those attributes into a single character's head. Most missions in Legion's open world are pretty similar, stealthy infiltrations into secure buildings and areas filled with guards, cameras, and security measures. While the configurations of mission areas usually aren't wildly different, it's still satisfying to virtually infiltrate a location, hacking security cameras to spy on the premises, mark the guards, absorb the layouts, and activate traps. Most mission locations can be tackled from different directions and in different ways using gadgets plus whatever special skills are unique to your team members. As in the earlier Watch Dogs games, it feels great to clear an entire building of threats remotely and make off with stolen data, all while standing safely outside on the street. The same way it took a while to get into my team, it took me a while to warm up to the sheer amount of drones in Legion. Drones are everywhere, unleashed by soldiers when you're detected, sent after you while you're fleeing in a car, blasting you with bullets and tear gas and rockets when you're desperately trying to hack into a server or download some data. I hate fighting drones, they're basically like giant flying insects, one of my least favorite enemy types. But as I unlocked more skills for my team, my anger at drones slowly turned into appreciation because I could disable them, hijack and pilot them, and even turn their AI against my enemies. Now, overhearing a soldier saying he's sending a drone out to look for me is music to my ears. Dude, you're just giving me another weapon to destroy you with. If the bad guys don't send drones after me, I'll hijack any random ones flying around the area instead. I even have a drone expert on my team, a guy named Fallon. He can summon his own drone, which can be remotely piloted to deliver electric shocks that KO most enemies with one blast. He can also chuck a second drone into the air that will dive bomb and incapacitate a targeted enemy. Plus, my unlocked team skills let him disable one enemy drone, commandeer a second one, and tell a third to fight for him on autopilot. That's 5 different drones Fallon has to access within seconds in a single fight. I finished Legion's main storyline and most of the side quests in about 30 hours. I still have several side missions to complete and plenty of collectibles left to find. And there's still fun to be had just messing around the city of London, causing chaos by remote controlling vehicles, endlessly scanning citizen data for your next favorite operative, or breaking into secure areas just to see what's inside them. Watch Dogs Legion's play as anyone gamble just about pays off. Most of London's citizens are too ordinary to be much fun, but the few I grew to care about ended up feeling more important to me than most proper protagonists do. Not bad for a group of randomly generated misfits.
Mercenaries on our streets will not be tolerated! Rise up!